Transition to kindergarten.
Hello, pre-K families. This is Miss Dengis, and we are getting you ready for your transition to kindergarten. Kindergarten will be starting in a few months for you kids, and parents, we would like to help answer questions and get you prepared for the transition. So what we did is we put together some frequently asked questions, and what we're going to do is myself and the other pre-K teammates, Miss Preschel, Miss Martin, will be answering questions as well as getting input from our parent coordinator, and her name is Mary Mischke.
Hi, Obama families. My name is Mary Mischke. I'm a partnerships coordinator in the Office of Early Learning, and I'm here to talk with you today about your child's transition to kindergarten. Transition to kindergarten is an exciting time for families and for children, but with big changes can also come a little bit of stress. And so we're going to talk about some ways that you can help your child make a successful transition to kindergarten. One of the things that you can do is prepare your child for some of the changes that they will experience once they begin kindergarten. If they'll be riding a bus, talk about what the bus ride might be like. If you have an opportunity to, go to school and meet your child's kindergarten teacher ahead of time. Talk with school staff about what your child likes and dislikes. What are some things that they're looking forward to in starting kindergarten, and what might be some things that they're afraid of? Communicating with teachers and principals is one of the best ways that families can help their children make a successful transition to kindergarten. There's also several questions that families have once their child is starting kindergarten. I will attempt to answer a few of those questions here. One of the common questions is, when do I know which school my child will attend kindergarten at? Families that registered by the deadline at the end of February have already received notification of their child's school where they will attend kindergarten. Families that registered after the end of February deadline, their registrations will still be processed by the Office of Student Placement, and families will be notified via email of the school where their child will attend kindergarten. If you have any questions regarding your child's registration for kindergarten, please feel free to contact Student Placement at 651-632-3760. That's 651-632-3760. Another commonly asked question is, do I need to register for kindergarten? And the answer is, it depends. If your child will be going to a school that is different from the school where they attended pre-K, then yes, you must register your child for kindergarten. And the best way to register your child is to contact the school that they will attend for kindergarten. The school will be able to answer the questions that you might have and also help you to register your child in a timely manner. Lastly, one of the frequent questions that we receive from families is, will I be able to visit my child's school before they begin kindergarten? That answer is, it depends. Normally, all schools have an open house prior to the first day of school. With the COVID-19 pandemic, we are uncertain as to what fall will look like for our students. Certainly, if an in-person meeting is not possible, you will have an opportunity to get to know your child's teacher virtually or through a phone call. Be assured that the staff at your child's school will do everything possible to make your child's transition to kindergarten smooth and a happy and wonderful time for you and your child. Thank you very much, and onward and upward to kindergarten.
Hi everybody, it's Miss Preschel. I'm going to answer some questions about kindergarten. The most commonly asked question we are getting is, will my child be ready for kindergarten? And I know with distance learning and coronavirus, there are a lot of uncertainties, and we haven't had the school year that we expected, where we would be with your kids in person every day until June. But the short answer to that question is yes, your child will be ready. If they have been attending school, up until March, and you've been doing the distance learning activities that we are providing, they will be ready. The pre-K curriculum was written alongside the kindergarten curriculum in St. Paul. So everything we're doing in pre-K was specifically designed as a building block for what the kids will be expected to do in kindergarten. So our pre-K program does a really great job of preparing kids for kindergarten because the curriculums are written together and they are very similar. And ultimately, we do our best to prepare our kids, the scholars that we have in our classrooms, academically, socially, emotionally, to move forward to kindergarten. So the short answer to that question is yes, they will be ready. What does ready for kindergarten even mean is another question. Ready for kindergarten means a lot of different things. There are kind of two tracks. You've got the social emotional track and the academic track. And so part of what we do in pre-K is try to teach a lot of social emotional skills and school readiness skills. So things like walking in a line, sitting on the carpet in a circle, sitting at their table spot, eating their meals independently, using the bathroom independently, as well as all of the academic things we do with books and math and reading, counting, shapes, patterns, sign in. The kids learn to write their name. And so when kindergarten teachers are looking at their incoming kids who come from pre-K, they do see that a lot of the kids who come from pre-K have a lot of the kindergarten readiness skills because of the pre-K program and the strength of the program to teach those foundational skills, being able to sit at a table with friends, sit on the carpet with friends, walk in a line, like I said, follow the schedule of the day, handle disappointments, make friends, play with other kids, manage transitions. Those are all things that kindergarten teachers are looking for. And I feel really confident that the kids that we are sending to kindergarten, even though it's been a different year than we expected, even though we haven't been with the kids since March, I feel really confident that all of your children are ready for kindergarten. And the last question I have is, how can I prepare my child social emotionally for kindergarten? And the thing I would say to this is talking with them about their feelings, talking with them about kindergarten and school. It can be a scary transition. Hopefully your child is staying at Obama, so there will be plenty of familiar faces for them, including me and Miss Martin and Miss Dengis. And so talking with them about their feelings, talking about them about friendship and being kind and making friends is important. And then reading books about going to school, starting kindergarten, books about feelings, books about kindness, and really making sure that you're having those conversations at home to set them up for success at school.
So a kindergarten day is going to be similar to a pre-K day. However, it's going to have a little bit longer structured time that is outside of active learning. So let's talk about what a typical day would look like. So the kids are going to come in for breakfast. They're going to have breakfast in the room, and they are going to complete similar activities to pre-K. So in kindergarten, they're going to first sign in. And then they are going to have their breakfast. When they're done with breakfast, they will complete an activity. Now, this is going to look different between teachers and times of year, but it's going to be an activity they either do at their table spot, perhaps on the rug. It really depends. Later in the year, sometimes they might do iPad work. It just depends on what's going on that week. So that time is very similar to pre-K, but it's going to be a little bit shorter. Then they will go to their morning meeting. And now morning meeting is very similar to pre-K. It's going to include a greeting, some kind of sharing in some way. And then from the meeting, it's the kids will then have their literacy block. So usually this includes a read aloud that's related to a writing activity that the children will do. So they'll do a read aloud. There will be a mini lesson on the writing activity for the day. And so they will then be dismissed to do their work. So this is the time that they'll do a writing prompt. and that will be done at their table spots. And then the teachers might structure it a little differently, but they'll circulate and talk to the kids. And then what comes after that is a have to. Now, a have to in kindergarten is an activity that the teacher has set up for each child's differentiated level. So that means that the children are going to look, most teachers have it on a board where they'll look for their picture and they'll see what activity they're doing. Then they go complete the activity. And when I say an activity for the literacy block, it's going to be something like matching uppercase and lowercase letters. Perhaps later it's talking about the initial sounds of letters or words. And so because it's differentiated, if the child is entering kindergarten and they're still working on their letter names, perhaps that's where they'll start. If they're still working on letter sounds, that's where they'll start. So the teacher decides what is going to work best for them. So they complete that activity, and then they go to active learning. Active learning is very similar to PreK in that the child will get, very unlimited choices at that time. That means they're able to follow what they're interested in as long as they're doing so safely. After that, the children will go to their reading block. And so this will look a little bit different depending on the teacher. Again, everything's, a little different, but they will be doing a small group activity. So usually the entire class is doing different group activities, and then the teacher meets with one group, then they switch, and then she will meet with another group. So following that time, they will be going to recess and lunch. And following that comes their specialty class, and that's either art, science, technology, or gym. So those are the 4 options, and they will have gym twice a week. So then after the specialists, the children will return to class and they will go to their math block. And their math block will be a small whole group lesson. We call them mini lessons because they're shorter to fit with the children's developmental needs. It's not appropriate for them to sit for a long time for a lesson. And so they'll have the lesson, and then similar to the literacy block, they will first of all do whatever math work is expected of them. Perhaps they'll be in small groups at this time, and then they will have a math have to. So that's another skill builder. Again, this would be something like working on numbers, or if the children are working on recognizing shapes, other things like that, depending on where the child is and what they need at that time. So then the math block is going to complete the day, because as the children finish their math have to, they are going to move into their second active learning. So the biggest difference in kindergarten is that the children have work that must be completed. It's like a ticket into their active learning time. So some children will take a lot of time to complete that task. Some children will only take a shorter time. And so the idea is that it's set up for the children to be able to take the time they need and then enter the rest of the day. All right, the next question is, what level of independence will my child need for kindergarten? So my answer to that is basic needs. There's going to be an expectation that a child can independently go to the toilet, wash up after themselves. If they need to, they would be able to change on their own. The expectation is that they will make attempts to open any food items, and they'll be able to eat independently. The expectation for them to independently keep track of their own behavior in a group setting is much higher than pre-K, and that is mostly because of the time. So kindergarten lessons are going to be longer, and as expected, they're going to be more complex or in depth with a skill. So it's going to be expected that the child can sit in relatively close proximity of other kids and be able to sit for 10 to 15 minutes. And that is a short time. And then the expectation will continue in that they will have work that they need to do on their own. Now, of course, this is all within reason for the child's age and developmental level, but it does look different in kindergarten. There's going to be more expectations placed on the child just on their own.
Hello, Pre-K families. This is Miss Martin, one of the Pre-K teachers at Barack and Michelle Obama Elementary. And when thinking about our Pre-K to K transition, I thought it would be helpful for you families to hear from me about what I wish I would have known when my son started kindergarten. He is a kindergartner this year, so he's almost done. And one of the things that really stuck out to me was how tired he is. In kindergarten, they don't have rest time anymore, and it really is the first academic year. And so their little bodies are learning and working so hard. And I would notice that especially the first half of the year, he would hold it together really well at school, and then he would come home and I could just tell by his eyes he was so tired. And then I would say the meltdowns started. So super normal. I've talked to so many other parents of kindergartners. In fact, we call it kindergarten crazies because sometimes they get home and they just act crazy. But it's totally normal. They're just going through a lot. It's a really big year. The other thing I noticed was how hungry he was when he got home. Again, they are working so hard and they're learning so much. And I wish I would have started a better and earlier bedtime routine in the beginning of the year. I think it would have helped a lot. We were still kind of on our summer mode. So those are some things that I wanted to share with you. And, you know, if anything ever feels like too much, like homework load or anything, just always talk to the teacher because we're all here. We're willing to help. We want all the kids to be successful. And it's fun. It's really fun. They grow so much from the first day of kindergarten up until the last. You're going to notice a huge, huge difference in what your child can do, especially when it comes to reading and math. And it's a very fun year. And again, your child is going to be very tired and emotional, but it's completely normal. And I can't wait to watch your child grow. And yes, we're always here. The pre-K teachers, we're always here for you and your family. Okay, I wish you well.
Hi, scholars. So, a little birdie told me that you're thinking about coming to kindergarten when you're done with pre-K. And if you come to kindergarten, you better be ready. So, what can you do to get ready for kindergarten? Well, you can for sure learn how to write your name. Then you can learn the letters of the alphabet and what sounds they make, and you can practice counting. That'll get you totally ready for kindergarten in my class, or Miss B's class, or Miss Yang's class. My name is Miss Harper, and I know some of you know me, some of you don't. But we are super excited to be having you come and join us in kindergarten. So do what you can this summer. practice writing, practice your letters, practice your numbers, whatever you think you need to practice. And when you come to kindergarten, we're going to help you learn how to read. We're going to help you learn how to add. We're going to help you make sense of all of that information so that you can be an Obama scholar.
Hey, amazing soon-to-be kindergarten families. I'm Mrs. Biaquelli, but everybody calls me Mrs. B, and this is my daughter, Zara! Today, I just want to take a moment to share with you a little bit about myself and also talk about kindergarten as well. So like I said, my name is Mrs. Biaquelli, but everybody calls me Mrs. B, and I'm actually in my 4th year of teaching. I used to teach at a charter school in St. Paul for 3 years in 4th grade. So this is my first year at Obama and my first year teaching kindergarten, and I absolutely love working with all of our amazing scholars and staff at Obama. We all have so much fun together, and I'm so excited to have fun with you and connect with all of you as well. Some other things about myself, I have wanted to be a teacher ever since I was 4 years old. It's the only thing that I've ever wanted to do. I absolutely love kids, I love teaching, and I absolutely love seeing the smiles on all of our littlest scholars' faces. What's so fun for me about kindergarten is all of our kids just have such a zest for life and just have so much fun learning. It's some of their first experiences at school besides pre-K, and we just see our kids soaring. By the end of the year, they've grown so much, not just physically getting taller, but also mentally and emotionally. I love getting the chance to teach social emotional skills, as well as teaching scholars our letter names, our letter sounds, starting to learn how to read, how to count and add and subtract. In kindergarten, what's really cool is if you've gone to pre-K at Obama, our kindergarten curriculum is very similar. We use the K-DOW curriculum, which is the Kindergarten Discovering Our World, and we follow our 7 areas of study. In each area of study, our scholars get to learn about different cycles of life, get to try out all sorts of fun new activities during active learning, and we get to work in so many great small groups in guided reading for reading. We also try to work on some small groups for writing and working on one-to-one writing and conferencing with our students, and in math as well, offering that really great differentiated support for all of our scholars. The wonderful thing about kindergarten is we have a great solid team of 3 teachers who all love their students so much, and we collaborate as a team to help make sure that our scholars are getting the absolute best education. And you know what's also great is we've got other great support staff, including teachers' assistants, or we call them paraprofessionals at our school, who work in our classroom with us. In my classroom this year, I have Miss Betsy, and she is amazing. She's been at Obama for a while now. She used to actually be a paraprofessional in pre-K, and she loves our scholars so much, and we work so well together as a team. Everybody at Obama is so supportive and just want our scholars to have fun, to enjoy learning, and to have a really positive first experience with school. I just want you all to know that I absolutely love each and every single one of my students. It's just so important to me that at the end of the day, on top of all the academics and everything else, that most importantly, our students know that they are loved, that they're cared for. Every single day, during our morning meeting time, we speak our truths together. And actually, I want to show you what that looks like right now. Should we speak our truths, Zara? Are you ready? We say, repeat after me.
Match my voice.
Match my voice. I am
Confident.
I am
strong.
I am
Smart.
I am loved. I am
Amazing.
amazing. And I truly believe that every single one of our kindergarten scholars are absolutely amazing. And I hope that if I have the opportunity to work with your scholar and to work with you as a family, that you feel so loved, that you feel that connection, because at Obama, we really are one big family. And we are here to support and love on your scholars and give them the best education, best experience possible. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I really hope that you enjoy the rest of this day, the rest of your week, the rest of this school year, and are revved up and refreshed and ready to start another amazing school year next year. I am so excited to meet all of your scholars in kindergarten and get to work with them. And if I get to teach with them, even better. We will talk to you again soon. Bye.
Hey, scholars.
My name is Miss Ferris, and I am a teacher who works with the kindergarten classes at Obama Elementary School. I love my school family, and I am so excited to work with all of you next year in kindergarten. It's going to be a wonderful year. Have a great summer.
Hi, scholars and families. I'm Mrs. Maher, and I'm the science teacher at Obama. I'm so excited that I get to teach you next year when you're in kindergarten. Now, most of you already got to visit the science lab one time this year to meet Buddy, our bearded dragon pet. She's not with me right now. She's staying with a teacher friend. But that is one of my favorite parts about our science lab, is how many animals we have. Animals are my favorite thing to study in science. And I have one here to show you. This is one of our hermit crab pets. We have 4 of them. We also have fish and snails. We have a bunch of different kinds of insects in the lab. And we might have a few more pets coming next year. We'll have to see. We also have plants that we grow. In science, we like to be engineers and build things. We'll study the weather and be meteorologists. I can't wait to have fun and learn with you in the science lab next year. Bye!
Transition to kindergarten tips. First of all, your child is ready for kindergarten, especially if they've been going to pre-K. Kindergarten is very similar to pre-K in St. Paul Public Schools. The curriculums were written together. Prepare your child to be more independent and attempt more self-help skills before asking for help from teachers. New kindergartens will be very tired and hungry once they get home. Kindergartner will potentially have big emotions and will need help calming. Consider making a bedtime routine that starts earlier than you might expect, since it might take longer. Work on these skills over the summer: letter names, letter sounds, and counting. Finally, be prepared for a wonderful year.